Okay, I'll be reviewing the pea plants and the crosses between them. So you have here in the purebred generation, the purebred tall with two capital T's. Those are both for dominant for tall. And then you have here two lowercase t's, which is recessive for short. So remember, each time they cross with one another, the tall parent plant will give a tall allele, and the short parent plant will give a short allele. So the tall dominates over the short. So that's why all of the offspring from that generation are tall. One dominant from one parent, one recessive from the other parent. So when doing Punnett squares, you would first find out the alleles of the parents. If the mom had dominant for brown eyes and recessive for blue eyes, you'd set up your Punnett square. You'd put the mom's alleles on the left, dominant and recessive. If the father had the same, one dominant, one recessive, remember the mom would have brown eyes because she has one dominant and one recessive. Same thing with the father, dominant, recessive, they would both have brown eyes. So you'd put the fathers up on the top. And then this is kind of like a multiplication chart in which you would combine these together like you're multiplying like a times table chart. For example, if you had 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, you would do 1 times 1 gives you 1, and then 1 times 2 gives you 2, and so on. You would go 2 times 1 is 2, and 2 times 2 is 4. So similarly here, you would start to fill in these. So you would go B and B in the first box, B dominant and another dominant B. Then you'd go on to the next one. You'd have the mom on the left with the capital B, and you'd come put it into this section here. And then from the father, you'd put it down into this section. So both of these first two would have brown eyes. Dominant would give you brown, dominant, recessive, also brown. Then you would continue in the next section. So the mother has the recessive lowercase b for blue eyes, and then the father has the dominant B for brown eyes. This offspring would have brown eyes, one recessive, one dominant, brown eyes. And then lastly, you would take this lowercase b, the recessive from the mom, and also the recessive from the father. This is the only of the 4 offspring that would have blue eyes. So the blue eyes would be only happening 1 out of 4 offspring.